Hey, in this video we will see how to recognize a reaction if it's an SN1, SN2, E1 or E2 reaction. Like when you take this, the chlorine here is on a secondary carbon. So you can say the substrate is a secondary substrate. So we'll use this chart to determine what kind of a reaction this one is. So this one, you see it is on a secondary carbon, the leaving group, chlorine. So it falls under secondary. So it could be SN1, SN2, E1 or E2, or it even could be no reaction. So in this case, we will just look at what is our nucleophile. Is it a good nucleophile or a bad nucleophile? So iodine, it's a very good nucleophile. We have seen it in my previous video. So since it's a good nucleophile, there is a possibility of it being SN2 or E2. And then we will see if there is a base. There is no strong base here, so that is when we'll see it's not a strong base. So that is the reason this reaction will be an SN2 reaction. Although the reaction is happening in methanol, the nucleophilicity of this nucleophile, and since it's not being a base, even if you consider methanol is not a strong base. So that is what pushes this reaction to be an SN2 reaction, because a lot of students get confused that as soon as they see a methanol, hey, this has to be an SN1 because it's a polar protic solvent. But because of iodine, because this is such a good nucleophile, that is the reason it will be an SN2. But whenever you have to see solvent and temperature comes into picture, then you have to see, hey, it's a polar protic solvent or polar aprotic solvent. It doesn't matter whether it is a polar protic or polar aprotic, it will still be SN2 reaction because there is no chance of it being SN1 because it's not a bad nucleophile. And you can use this chart to go through how to recognize especially secondary substrate, because for primary substrate and tertiary substrate are so easy, but it's a secondary substrate that throws us off. And I hope this will be like a really helpful one. See, secondary substrate, a good nucleophile, and not a strong base, SN2.